Streaming. I think we're streaming. We're just gonna get started now. We'll let people trickle in here. I think if we just believe in ourselves, then we'll believe in technology, and this will work. But
That's
guys,
right.
welcome, welcome to the Joyage Kingdom. I'm Cage, your guide. I'll be replacing the little voice beside you for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say thank you first for listening or viewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. Yeah, we got a founder or co-founder of UWU Crew and Killer GF NFT. He's also a dev. He's got a lot of information that we're going to try and pry out of him, but really excited to have you on, bro.
Hey, yeah, thank you so much for having me. Really, really appreciate this platform for me to talk about, everything I've done and what the team of Woo Labs and Killer GF has accomplished so far. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, look, I want to since I haven't been able to watch like a lot of your podcasts, I don't know a whole lot about like your personal life. Do you want to take me back to like, I don't know, 30 days before you found out about an NFT and what you were doing, what life was
Sure.
like?
I can go back a bit. I mean, I've been in crypto for about 4 years, so I'll try to
Mm,
summarize all of that as much as I can, and then get straight to NFTs. But I was a developer primarily for a while. I had a developer community that I started. I hopped around a few DeFi jobs for a bit, primarily in Solidity as a smart contract engineer. And then eventually I stumbled into the Ethereum merge effort, the 2.0 effort, and I found I was really inspired by it. I joined the team. I ended up contributing to them for a while, and eventually joined the team as a
legend.
software engineer for about 2 years. I worked on a lot of software, a lot of crazy shit that I look back on now and
How did
wondering
you
how
get
I did it.
involved? How does that happen? How do you go? Because that was a long time ago. How do you even get into
Yeah.
that position where you speak to these people? So on Telegram or something?
Right. So they had a Discord. Well, before this is before they had a Discord actually, but I
Mm,
saw their effort. They put out the like biweekly blog posts about their progress on the effort overall. And I was really inspired by those, and I really wanted to help out. And the language that they were using, I was unfamiliar with. It was called Golang. I didn't really know it at the time. So, I tried out, I just tried to make some changes. If you go back to the first changes I made, there's even some that are just me changing like one letter or one text, one word in the code to something else. And then, I worked my way up to more complex topics. And eventually, I had an occasion that I ran into the team after I was stuck in Chicago after I'm missing a layover flight. And I remember the founder lived in Chicago, so I was like, "Oh, let's talk."
yeah.
And that went great. Ended up going back home to a call to join the team, and I dropped everything.
What the
uh,
fuck? Because you
yeah,
missed a phone, you missed a plane flight, and that literally jump started your career.
right. I was late to my flight back home from East Denver to
What the
Miami, and then I got to Chicago, and then Chicago was snowing the fuck out, so I was stuck there, and I was like, "Oh, might as well spend a little bit since I'm here," and
Holy shit.
and yeah, it turned into all that.
Damn,
Um,
bro. How old were you?
oh man, when I started that, I was 21, 20,
Wow.
2020. I was 20. I was 20 when I started that.
20 years old. Goddamn, bro. I have a lot of respect for you in the, especially in the dev and coding
Thank you.
sphere, because I tried my best in college to get a computer science degree. And God told me that this was not my path, this was not my future, and I need to get out before I die, because I literally cheated my way through all the classes and still managed to pull a D in all of them. It is hard. It is very hard, especially for my brain. I think my brain just like doesn't, I don't know.
Mm,
My excuse is my brain doesn't work like that, but it's just hard, dude.
yeah, it definitely is not a walk in the park. And working on the ETH2, I couldn't Google anything. I couldn't figure anything out. I had to like anytime I had a problem, I had to dig into the specification that Vitalik and the Ethereum Foundation wrote, dig through it, see like, oh, this isn't matching up, and then apply the fix from that. That was ridiculous stuff, man. But
God damn, dude. And were you able to like test shit back then? Like, could you test and like run? Like, I don't know how it
yeah,
was back
so
then.
actually part of what I did for them was building like a testing suite kind of because the team of Prismatic Labs came from a team of very experienced engineers. The co-founder, one of them came from Google, and they're very familiar with infrastructure and handling production software, right?
Hmm.
So they had a pipeline for checking if what was currently out was not working, right? But they didn't have a pipeline for checking everything that they needed to before it reached production.
Gotcha.
So I wrote this little testing utility for them that kind of spun up all components of the software, It tested the API of the blockchain nodes, right?
Hmm.
To gather data from the blockchain state and compare it to what it should be expecting. And if anything in that process went wrong, it would notify whoever was working on the code to tell them, hey, this doesn't work because of this error. And then after they get that error, they can look into what happened. But outside
Yeah.
of that, that was the end-to-end tests. They had their own pipeline for doing exactly what I did, but in a more production style. But I needed something. The team needed something to be in the middle, so that we're not solving a problem already in production, right? Like the
Yeah.
problem is encountered before it reaches production. So yeah.
What were you like back? So that was when you were 20 years old or something. You were like a kid, basically.
Yeah, I
What? I
mean,
mean, I'm only 24, so like I can't say like 20-year-old's a kid, but like, what were you like back then? How much has changed since then?
Interesting
David
question.
says I don't even know what he's saying, but it sounds complicated.
What has changed, man? I guess I really used to be primarily a dev then.
Hmm.
Now I've started a few projects myself, and I've had my own share of visions and and intentions to put out into the space, and it's been nice to create something of my own, which I never thought. Like people always tell me, like, "Oh, why don't you do your own thing? Why don't you make your own thing? Do your own, like
Yeah,
they knew I was capable of something, So they're always saying like, "Oh, why don't you do something?" And it's intimidating, It's hard to
yeah,
make something on your own. It's really difficult, and then you
100%.
have to maintain it and continue keeping it alive, And you have teams of people that you work with too that you need to like count on you. Um, so yeah, I've since that day and age, I've co-founded and helped launch my fair share of projects, and I've really seen this space grow. I even helped out Bored Ape Yacht Club team the first week they were minting. That
What?
like
Wait, okay, hold on. You helped out the Board Yacht Club team when they first launched? Tell me.
they launched, right. They launched like end of May, right, and they didn't get much attention. A friend of mine named Wave, he sent the website of Bored Ape Club or of Basie to what was the UWU Crew Discord, right? Back then, this was before UWU Crew existed, right? But it was the same community, pretty much. Um, and I minted a few, checked it out, looked cool enough to mint, right? But that was also a dark time in NFTs. Like, people were kind of
Yeah.
scared. There's a lot of big scams, but big rugs that
I was
happened.
scared, bro. When I heard about Bored
Yeah,
Apes, I was like, that sounds so stupid. That was literally my first. I was like, that literally is so stupid.
right. Yeah. So I mean, I minted a few. They looked decent. They looked appealing enough for me to mint, And they had a narrative in place, which is interesting versus other projects, at least, right? Um, and so they launched, and they minted about 300 or 500 at first, for the first week.
Yeah.
Um, and then they didn't really get that much attention, and they didn't really. I was present as a dev in there, and um, they came for me to help because I was a dev and I was present. There weren't many devs and NFTs at the time,
Sure.
and I was there. So they were stressing a bit. They were going on for a week. They were supposed to reveal after a week, and they only sold 1,200 by this point. And they're like,
Yikes.
"Oh, Kiwi, what do we do? Like, how do we handle the reveal? Because if we just reveal them, then people are gonna snipe the rares."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they're stressing about it. So I got on a call with them, talked about it, gave them some suggestions on how to operate. They had some concerns that they wanted me to answer from my perspective. And after that call happened, Pranksy bought 1,200 apes, and then everything went crazy on the last fucking day of everything. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, here we are. I got to meet the founders at AFest.
Nice.
They said Bored Ape wouldn't have been possible without me, which is a lot to hear.
Damn, bro. That is
um,
fucking legend.
Yeah, thank you. I actually needed some advice, and I wasn't sure who else to ask for advice, so I actually hit them up, and I had a quick little call with them yesterday, and they're
That's
awesome.
awesome, bro. Hell
It's
yeah,
great
man.
to have a connect to them.
I love hearing the stories of OG NFT because I got here probably like right around after that, a few weeks after. I think it's maybe June when I first was like, okay, let me make an OpenSea account. Let me get into this world a little bit. And man, I just missed out on that. But I love hearing stories from last summer because last summer was way different than it is right now. Last summer, I had something in the air. I've said this on a few different podcasts. In the summer of 2021 and the fall of 2021, this shit was wild, bro. There was something like we were all like people think they're DJs in 2022. I'm like, you don't understand. Like we didn't know anything in 2021. There was nothing to
Right.
look back on. It was just fucking
Right.
bullshit everywhere. Like it was crazy projects launching left and right. No one knew
Right.
what to look for. We kind of knew that everything was a derivative of 48, but we also weren't sure. We didn't know if 48 was going to crash at 25. Like no one knew jack shit. So it's a
Right.
perfect segue. What's the secret? Because you've launched multiple projects. What's the secret to having a project launch and not become a dud within 48 hours?
Oh man. Um. Well, a lot of it is intention, I would say. Of course, with the normal business, with most successful businesses, they have a vision that they believe in strongly and that they believe they're a crucial part to complete, right?
Mhm.
With NFTs though, I mean, we had our intention, right? We wanted to, we didn't for I'm gonna speak for Crew specifically. We were unhappy with how the space was, almost a year ago, right? And we wanted to highlight artists more. And we felt that Crew was one venue for us to represent art better in the space as a whole, right? So that was our intention with it. We really wanted to empower artists and improve how they're represented in culture. And the communities really prospered from that. I would definitely say what helps the most is having good intentions first of all, right? And then being able to control your values in a way that brings in community, that brings in collaboration, that inspires others, right? um, and just genuinely trying to put something out good and honest out there. There's a lot of bad people in this space and they get away with a lot. So the people that are good, they stand out eventually with time, right?
Yeah.
um, and then the people who they don't really have their intentions in the spot, who don't really know what they're there for, who are there just to extract value, right? Those people eventually fade, or they'll come back in multiple forms.
What do you think? So you've been here since what was it? A few like years. You've been here for a long, long time. So what is it about the perspective that you have that other people don't have, who maybe came in last year at the beginning of the bull market?
Hmm.
Do you think you look at other things differently in a way, or you just have a bigger scope?
Hmm. Well, I did work on Ethereum 2.0 during the bear market. Um, so I've definitely, like, some people might be more adverse to market conditions,
Hmm.
but I've grown to not really take mind into them. I'm just trying to build and put stuff out. So I believe in ETH long term. Anyways, I'm whole ETH maxi, love it to death. I used to fucking build it. You know what I mean? So it's very important to me,
Nice.
and I know I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So that helps me with 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 working on what I do. I feel like reputation is a very underplayed topic in the space
Agreed.
because, like, that's all we have. We don't have.
Hundred
I don't
percent.
believe in doxing. I believe people can be anon all they want. Um, so it's really just about reputation and building that to the best you can.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I had a conversation with Betty from Dead Fellas on the podcast, and we had brought that up because before that conversation, I didn't fully understand the anonymous argument. I was like, well, not really. And then she kind
Hmm.
of came out, and I remember I also had like a week before heard the story from Yuga Labs CEO, and she told the story of like when basically the Boy Yacht Club founders were doxxed from that BuzzFeed
Hmm.
article or whatever it was, and she was
Right.
like, yeah, it was like really scary. There's like safety concerns. We had to call the families, all this stuff, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't really think
Wow.
about that. For like certain people, it can matter. Like with Dead Fellas with Betty, she was like, yeah, like there's safety things. Like I have like a family. I didn't want to make sure everyone's good, especially with something like this where it's an asset. This isn't
Right.
quite like a brand deal. Like when influencers are paid to do a brand deal, they're always going to get something. They're always going to get that product with a 20% discount. But in NFT land, you're like buying an asset that you're hoping goes up. So it's like a totally different game.
Right.
But I think you're right with the anonymous. There is gray water or like whatever, like gray area for the anonymous. It's not black or white.
Right. Right.
Um, Also, the guy that you met back then when you were super young, that wasn't Vitalik, right? That was the president or the founder of that company.
Yes, of Prismatic Labs. But I did go to DEF CON 4 in Prague. I did go to DEF CON 5 in Osaka. I met Vitalik there both times. I've shaken his hand twice.
That
Um,
was my question was gonna be, what is that like? What is he like? What is Vitalik Buterin
he's
like?
oh man,
The
he's
founder of
incredible.
ETH.
I feel like he thinks in Python. Like his brain just doesn't think in English. He just thinks in Python. I saw him one time at DEF CON 5. I saw him sitting down at a chair at a talk, and I saw him typing on his phone with 3 of his fingers, not 2. I saw him with 3. So I saw him with his left
What
thumb,
the fuck?
his right thumb, and his right index. And he was just man was typing. Man was typing.
What?
I've heard they've been at meetings with him and at like a conference or like something with the ETH team. He goes to the bathroom and then he publishes a new blog post and then comes out. He's incredible.
Yo,
He's
that guy
incredible.
is a fucking meme, bro. Like everything he does is so memeable. He's just so funny. I've seen him on the Lex Fridman podcast. I've watched a couple podcasts where he talks. You're right, bro. There are people on this earth that are just a little bit different, and Elon Musk is one of those people. I feel like they literally speak slower than they think, like way slower than they think to actually get across some of their thoughts. Also, maybe they just literally can't get the thought out like fast enough. They just got so many words going through their head. Like, what do you think? What do you think that guy's doing? Like, because you have a little bit, like a lot of experience in this actual field. What does he do all day? Is he running around going to meetings, or is he coding? Like, what's he doing?
So I think primarily a lot of the work he does nowadays relates to research. There are a lot of problems that Ethereum wants to solve, right, as a protocol. But in order to scale, you need to truly scale the base layer. And the base layer right now relies on a lot of cryptography, right? And cryptography is incredible. It makes everything possible with cryptocurrencies happen, But it's also like if you can scale the core technology backing everything, then everything has immense boosts from that. Like he's trying to make improvements on how you verify data in ways that reduce the complexity to simple, versus having all these complex setups and having to store all this data and having to transmit all this data. He's truly working on groundbreaking cryptographic improvements that can scale this industry as a whole. And he works with the Ethereum Foundation on solving problems like that.
Is Vitalik Buterin nice?
Definitely. Whenever I went up to him, I would always make sure I had like some interesting question though, to just to talk with him a bit. Because I mean, there were a few times at the conferences that people would ask him to take the selfie with someone else. So it's like,
Wait,
this guy wanted to take a picture with me, and it's Vitalik, and he grabs the camera for them and acts like he's taking the selfie with them. He's nice. He's great.
That's actually really funny, dude. That is really, really funny. Yeah, I've always wondered what these guys are like. I've never been to a crypto conference before. I went to NFT NYC. I was there, but I missed, what is it, NFT Denver or ETH Denver a few months ago, even though I fucking lived in Denver. I don't know what I was doing. And so I missed a lot of those events. But what is that like? Because NFT NYC was crazy for me, but I'm also a content creator. So I met up with all my YouTuber and TikTok friends. And like, if they hadn't been there, I don't know how much fun it would have been. But what has your experience been like at these crypto conferences?
So there's different kinds of them. There's some that are more professionally oriented, like NFT NYC, for example. I went to BTC Miami. That was my first conference in 2018. And that was just people talking about ICOs and security tokens and tokenizing and a bunch of random bullshit that's irrelevant nowadays, But I try to stick more to the developer-oriented conferences now.
Gotcha.
I went to ETH Boston. I went to there was ETH New York too. Those are fun. I haven't been there, but DevCon is incredible. ETH Denver is absolutely amazing. It's really focused more on the builders that are there, trying to. For ETH Denver specifically, it's a hackathon, so it's a lot more of just devs hanging out.
So I wouldn't have fun going because I'm not like a dev.
If you know people who are going, it can be fun. It can definitely be fun. I mean, there was a fucking party this year for fucking Deadmau5 and Tiesto at ETH Denver. So
was there actually? Was it cool?
Yeah, yeah. The fucking bear. Like what?
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I've been wanting to go. I think I got intimidated or nervous, especially Miami. I just think when I think of Miami, I think of everything around Miami and everything about Miami just in general. It's like the party, it's like a party area, whatever.
Right.
So when I think of Bitcoin Miami, I'm thinking of just like all bunch of super rich people and me just showing up. I'm like, oh, I'm a YouTuber with like under 10,000 subscribers.
When for Miami events, we have a club here that's really popular called 11, and I heard some people just showed up there just tossing out dollar bills. Like they just came in with a giant box of bills and just started throwing them out everywhere at everyone there.
That literally sounds like something I would think of with Miami.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, the parties get pretty crazy, but I like going there. Like if you know people who are going, I strongly recommend it. Um, I have a lot of dev friends, so I connect a lot with them at those type of events.
Yeah, I feel like the when I went to NFT NYC, I was surprised at how much networking I did. I knew that I
Mm,
would meet people, but I didn't really think I would meet anyone
that's
worthwhile that
right.
I didn't already know. And I ended up meeting a multitude of people that were fucking baller.
I
And I was like, yo,
right.
what?
I totally forgot. Like there's the business conferences, there's the dev conferences, and then there's the NFT conferences. I didn't go to
Yeah.
NFT NYC last year. This is my first year going, and it was
Okay.
incredible. We hosted a little casual meetup for Killer GF, handed out some stickers. I went to A-Fest.
Yeah.
It was incredible, awesome event, awesome way for everyone to meet. Definitely had a different vibe versus every other conference I've been to, with so many people. Having their community that they rep. Usually it's not like that in DeFi.
Hmm.
Like DeFi, everyone has tokens, but no one's like a member of the community like that. Not
Yeah.
as much
Yeah.
at least.
No, tell me about Ape Fest at NFT NYC this year. Well, we're gonna get into the
um,
UWU crew, but I want to know what happened with Ape
right.
Fest because I forgot to go. I was just like,
Mm.
I don't know what
Yeah, man,
happened.
it
I
was
just missed
great.
it.
It was great. I so I had tickets, right, for myself and a plus one. But I had more people who wanted to go, and the founders checked in on me if I was going or not, and I told them, oh, like I actually only got the first day, like I didn't get more than that, and they hooked me up with tickets.
Oh shit!
And I was
Damn.
able to get my friends, my I was with the KGF team, and they had some other people who wanted to experience what Fest was. So it was nice to invite some other people to come in and check out the experience and see more of what Ape's all about.
So when
Um,
you went in, what was the first thing you saw? Like obviously we had the big inflatable ape on the
right.
outside, but what was the rest of
So
the
you
rest
get
of
to
the
the
area like?
pier. You get to the pier, you walk, there's a little sign that says everything. They have the boat with the sails that have Ape Fest on the sails, the giant boat. They
Mhm.
have the inflatable Curtis that's chilling, laying down, lounging out there. And then
Whose ape is that, by the way? Is that someone like
I think it's
on
like
the
their
team?
mascot.
Okay.
It's just their mascot. He's not an actual ape, or
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
just a
okay.
mascot. Um, and so you go in. There's a line, of course, for general admission. And then you eventually get through. You go up. You enter a room that was covered. The walls was covered in ape wallpaper. It was a bunch of bored apes all over, and mutants all over the wall, wallpapered on there. For about 2 floors. You walk up the 2 floors. You reach the top, and then it's an open area. It's on a rooftop. They had the stage in the middle, and the side, in the middle to the side, to the back. They had places to get drinks. Everything was free and included because that was the whole point of it.
Yeah.
Um, they had drinks, they had hot dogs, they had food, they had ice cream. Um, they had a VIP section, which I was actually able to get into because of the team.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
That was super chill. Um, it had a roof. It rained a bit on one of the times that it was there, so it was nice to have some shelter.
That's
um,
awesome, bro. That is
yeah,
legendary.
but it was fun. It was exciting.
I went to the Hape. I got invited to the Hape VIP event during the
Oh
day,
shit.
and I'm not even a holder of Hape. We just knew some of the, or I think Tom knew somebody. I knew Matt, the founder, and so we were able to get in. And it literally like right. I was so excited. It's like the first like VIP rooftop thing I've been to. Fucking showed
Mm.
up and it starts pouring rain. They didn't have a cover. I was just like,
Oh no.
come on, motherfuckers! Give me my Instagram moment. It
Oh
was weird though.
man.
Like I mean, I don't really go to events like that, and it was really really cool being able to go to those things because like I'm 24 now,
Mm.
so like 2 years ago I was working at a restaurant and had no credentials in any way, shape, or form to anything. I was just a college kid who just graduated and had no other skills other than I went to college, and so to
Mhm.
be able to like, because I would like, I've been in cities where you walk around, you look on the inside of a room, and it looks like a cocktail party or something, and it's all these super rich people who are probably successful and shit. And I remember I would always look in there and be like, man, like I wonder why they're in there or like how they got there, like what it's like to be there. And then I was in one of these events, and it was really really cool. Like I had a great time at
Nice.
NFT NYC. Was did they treat people like I've always wondered how people are treated in public at an event like Ape Fest. Like, are the people who work there like ultra nice because they're like, okay, you might be talking to like a trillionaire?
um, there wasn't too much interacting with. I mean, of course, they had people who were there for the venue,
Sure.
but but I'm not sure how in tune everyone else was who was working there with the Bored Ape stuff, you know.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
But it seemed fine, no complaints. Everyone was happy, you know.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, so I want to transition a little bit into, because I know we've talked a lot about NFTs, Web3s in general, but you've got a bunch of stuff happening
Right.
with UWU, with your professional life too. Like, I know you guys are doing this artist collaboration, which is really cool, that I want to talk about. That's something that you guys have always pushed and maintained with the artists. You took
Right.
this is a bit different, but it's like a 1 year anniversary update from a couple months ago. But you guys took
Right.
over the Y Fusion project, and then also
That's
you're
right.
helping out with this project called ICO Virtual, which is
Right.
interesting to me. So you pick which one you want to get into, because I'm down to talk about all of them.
Yeah, we can start with ooh. I mean, we went
Ooh,
over them a bit earlier, but yeah, it's always been about a focus on empowering artists and truly giving them a community that can, onboard them to selling their own NFTs, art, and also like we established. I feel like Bored Apes has always had like derivative art.
hmm.
I've always had like people making like derivative art of their apes or using their apes in other ways, But I feel like Ooh Crew was the first collection to kind of really proliferate the concept of derivative art within
Yep.
NFT characters. And that started really naturally. I was looking back a while back, and I saw that our co-founder Laura, an artist Laura, she's amazing, actually drew like the first derivative kinda, and maybe that inspired the community to do a few more from that. And then of course we had an art contest
Yeah.
to help bootstrap that. But it's been incredible to see, all these artists who want to enter the community. They draw someone's ooh, and that gives them, immediate attention from the community. And there's a lot of prominent artists now in NFTs that have been, recognized in the ooh crew pretty early on,
Yeah.
and now they're pretty successful and publishing a lot of awesome pieces.
Yeah, one of my favorite people on earth, Tom Bilyeu, follows the UWU crew, or at least he follows
Oh,
him on Twitter. And I know I fucking love that dude. Have you guys had a chance to chat with him at all?
Tom, who? I'm sorry,
Tom, oh, wait, are you joking or are you being serious?
Tom. Hold on, my
Tom
memory
Bilyeu.
isn't.
He, Impact Theory. Impact Theory. I'll show you. I'll show you a photo of him. You may recognize his face. It's just someone I know because I've watched his podcast a million times. But Tom Bilyeu is the founder of Impact Theory and Quest Nutrition, and then they do have an NFT project that they
Mm,
launched called Impact Theory. I just saw that he was following Uwu Crew, and I didn't know if that's like a thing. Like every time you connect with
um,
someone who's like a
mm,
public figure, that people talk to them, or what it was like.
got
This
him. I
guy.
found him. I found him.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I don't know this guy. That's
All
he
right.
follows
Well,
Zoo. That's awesome.
yeah, he's a cool
Follows him
fucking
back.
dude, and I guess he must like anime or something, like something about the project. But
Mm,
yeah, you guys have attracted quite a crowd, and I would say, yeah, you guys, I mean, if not the trend center, like definitely in the conversation, because you guys are a super OG project, by the way. For people who don't know, Uber Crew's an old project. You guys, what month
right.
did you guys launch?
September last year.
Yeah, very very
Quite a
OG, I
while
think.
ago. And crazy to think of how much we've inspired.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, the amount of anime projects out there that are out right now is fucking nuts. There's so many of them.
Right.
What do you think? What's the difference? Why is this one maintained a brand over what is this,
Hmm.
like 7, 8, 9, 10, like 11, 10 or 11 months or something like that?
Right. Well, I would say the answer to that would be the focus, the core around Uwu Crew, right? Uwu Crew has two words. One of them is Uwu, right? A lot of people know of this word already. It's an existing concept. It's an existing culture. Uh, that it's really only existed in Web 2, and no one really owns it. No one owns the word Uwu. It's supposed to be comfort, cozy, positive. And a lot of people represent it in different ways. There's probably a lot of e-girls who love Uwu. And part of a lot of what we've done is establish a culture, a positive art culture, around collecting, around appreciating artists, and of course a positive culture overall. And one thing we've done that's been really beneficial, I think, is what we call the UWU Labs family, which is we take our knowledge as a team of UWU Labs, that's the team's name, right? And we provide that knowledge and support to other projects that we trust with promoting our culture of UWU, right? Um, and I would say that's really helped us proliferate the culture further, and has really given the brand a lot of ways to stand up, um, in the space, at least, right? Um, And yeah, it's been great to see that culture, spread and everyone appreciate it. There's tons of artists who just like live by UWU. Like they only do they only do UWU commissions. They put UWU references in everything they do. Some artists are truly devoted to the culture that we built.
Yeah, I remember it was a project that I've been, well, honestly, like until recently when you and I spoke, there's just so many projects. Like if there's a project you want to get into, then you forget about it for a few weeks, then like it comes up a few months later.
Right.
It was a
Right.
project I've been had my eye on for a very long, many months. But the floor was
Mm,
literally never below point 0.2 for a long time. So,
right.
I knew in the bear market there would be projects I'm interested. Like I have like 10 tabs on my phone with projects I'm interested in, and I'm just waiting for like where I think we're just at dead bottom prices. And like that's when I'll start to like shop the floor and see if there's anything cool, because I'm so
That's
picky.
right.
And then you ended up
Mm,
sending me, so I've already thank you for this offline, but like thank you for the Killer GF NFT. You actually
for
sent me one that I fucking love, which I honestly was surprised at, because I'm like super picky on art, but I fucking love that one. That's a really
yeah,
cool
I
NFT.
looked at your photo. You got the glasses on.
Yeah.
She's got the bazooka too. And the fancy
Wait.
outfit.
Let me show people what you
Sure,
sent me.
sure.
So this is for my birthday. He just shoots me a DM. He's like, "Hey man, I sent you an NFT for your birthday." And I was like, "What?" So he sent me this one. Oh, let me turn my brightness down.
So sick.
So focus.
Killer AF.
Oh my god. She is beautiful.
You got the GMGN on the outfit too.
Yes, dude. It's perfect. Like that's literally my wife. It's amazing, bro. It's amazing. Legend. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Of course, of course.
So tell me some of the big differences between Killer GF and UWU Crew, as far as like how you guys
Yeah.
approached launching it, how you guys approached just the entire project in general.
Mm. Well, so Crew started from a team of people who were pretty already native to NFTs, right? We were all pretty familiar, and we all each member on the team had their own reputation within the NFT space already, right? At least in some amount, right?
Okay.
So that changed the process a bit. We already had our culture in place, and that helped a lot. For Killer GF, I was working with I co-founded Killer GF with the artist Zeronis, who has worked for Riot Games for over 10 years. He's no longer with
Wow.
Riot now, but he designed characters like Ari, KDA, some Star Guardian costumes. A bunch of work from League has been from Zeronis. He's designed countless characters. You've probably seen his work before,
Definitely
since
have.
you played League. And yeah, that was a big proponent for making the project happen. He wanted to build his own story, in this industry, because he's just there's a common trend of artists leaving Web 2 industries and coming to Web 3 to create their own thing and build their own
Mhm.
vision, right? Um, and he also, like, that was what he believed in doing, right? So Killer GF, they'd have different communities. It's really interesting, especially seeing it all from my perspective, like all these projects I've started that are all uwu, right?
Yeah.
But they also all have their own unique communities and values. And of course, uwu is like the foundation for everything. Like uwu is just an abstract concept that everyone can adapt and make flexible in their own way, right? So all
Yeah.
these projects, they've represented it in their own way, and it's really funny seeing how different the communities are from each other, and how different they react to certain things. Um, how different they chat in the Discord, what they talk about in the Discord. Um, yeah.
What is so this is an interesting question for me, because I've spoken to so many artists and they all have the same problem basically, which is like we're struggling to get people to give a shit. And
Mm,
like I would say 9 out of 10 projects struggle with that as probably their main issue.
mm,
Why has your projects got the attention? What is it that is there an
mm,
it factor, or is there just a combination of things?
hmm. Well, my reputation definitely helps. There's a lot of people who swear by Kiwi nowadays.
Mhm. I saw the
Um,
comments, bro. Yeah, they fuck with Kiwi.
right. But outside of that, man, it's just doing this stuff isn't easy, and it's not like I know what I'm doing necessarily, like it's hard to say. I'm not trained in being a anime JPEG connoisseur, but uh when to start something big, like, you do need to see something that other people aren't, you know um but you also need, leadership is very important to continue a project going.
Yep.
right? Some people start things and they might not be a good leader, right? And that's just the nature of things, right? Um, I take pride in being a powerful leader that has, built up several teams and have motivated them towards doing more, right? And of course now I have to take some time now and realign everything I've done, because I've done so much, and now I need to make sure it all fits in under the umbrella, with each other,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
develop each business
And
model.
you guys, so like we said a few minutes ago, you guys took over Y Fusion.
That's right.
Tell me about, I guess, tell me about that decision, just because that is something I've seen a few times. Like I saw, what's it called? Space
There's
Yetis, I think.
there's
They took over a project.
crypto fame ladies also, or the fame ladies or whatever. I don't know. There's been a few similar community takeovers. I think Uwu was the first though, taking
Mhm.
over my Fusion. But yeah, so yeah, man. I mean, I guess it started off being more hopeful of that we were able to take the project to somewhere, right? But as time passed, we were growing more distaste, honestly, for everything that happened with the
Yeah.
collection. We didn't even know where the artists came from for this collection for Y Fusion. The devs were totally absent. They took all the money with them too, So eventually, we just decided, like, it's time for us to do our own thing, and put our own values out there,
Yeah.
um, and represent what we want to represent, right? Not trying to maintain this project that, and it sucks when things like when projects start at such a high price from all the hype going on, it really just goes down when it has that much hype and stuff.
Almost every single time, dude. There's a few
Right,
projects that be able to maintain it, but that is the problem, like when you launch especially if you launch at a bad time in the market, people
right,
are just willing to just get, like, they're willing to roll the dice, and if it doesn't immediately return them some kind of return on investment, they're usually out. Like, they don't even
right,
care if they take a loss most of the time, right?
right. They just want to get out. Right.
Yeah, they just want to get the fuck out. Have you experienced any you've been in crypto for a long time. You've been there for the massive dumps, and have you been holding the bag?
Oh man, yeah. I'm a world-renowned holder. I just hold, man. I'm busy with other stuff, so I don't really pay too much attention and have time to track floors and stuff. And I don't like fuck, bro. Just selling is like kind of hurts sometimes, because I do have a connection with a lot of the NFTs I hold, and it would suck to sell them and lose whatever bonus things they might give me, or just like lose that art, that asset that I've been holding on to for so long.
Yeah.
But I definitely have had my fair share of rugs. um you know uh, I don't need to name them. um uh and even in DeFi I've had my own fair share of rugs. um DeFi had its own crazy section where people were just like how we're flipping Degen Baby Ape Kids Club now, like we were, like there was exactly same thing in DeFi, except it was with a farm that you'd stake liquidity in and get some tokens and dump them. It was the exact same thing, just it just lasted like half the time.
What do you think about this play to earn meta that potentially will be happening in the next couple of years? What are your
mm.
thoughts on it?
I think it's very interesting, but I think teams need to keep it flexible, and they need to be eager to react and adjust to the market in terms of how they operate.
Hmm.
Um, I think a very important thing for being in Web3 is just adapting and keeping up with what is currently happening. What the current trend is, right? Or not necessarily what the current trend is, but at least like keeping yourself flexible to revisit things if needed, right? To prevent things crashing down,
Hmm.
because you're being selfish or sticking to what you've done before, right?
Hmm.
What you've done before might not work in this in certain situations. So you have to really be open to changing things if needed. But for play to earn specifically, I'm honestly not too much into it. I do think there is a lot of potential in games, but unfortunately, having the best game dev team doesn't work in Web 2 gaming, and it also
Hmm.
doesn't work in Web 3 gaming. You need also a team that is very familiar with the space and
Yeah.
understand how communities work, understand how NFTs work, how tokens play with each other, all that stuff. Axios definitely had a great model, but I'm curious to see what other types of models there are.
Yeah, man, I'm really interested to see because we've had a lot of projects in the last, especially in the last few months of 2021, drop the play to earn as like their thing, and they
Mm,
hopefully at least they've been working on it. But we think they've been working on it, and we don't know. And the problem is like a lot of them, like for example, I've done the Really Honest reviews for the past like 10 months straight. I've done almost 100 of them, so I've seen all the projects kind of come and go. And what I've seen is a lot of the play to earn models, they focus so much on making the tokenomics work that
mm,
they forget about literally everything else, like the story, the lore, like what's going to actually get people to play the game. Like they're going to
right.
have a sick game, I feel like, for a lot of these companies, but they're not going to have done all the other work, which is getting fucking users and getting
Right,
people
and
to
then like
care
a
about
lot
it.
of these online games have a lot of maintenance. Like
A
sure they make
lot of
bank,
maintenance.
but they have a
Yeah.
lot of maintenance, and that's something that projects need to realize too. You can't just put a game out and expect people to continue to stay into it. You got to keep it fresh for them. That's how the market is for games now.
Yeah, man. And I don't know if you have any experience in the gaming sphere as far as coding, but I bet that shit is like stupid hard to code.
Yeah, that's not a world I've explored.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, the whole
That's
gaming
like
world.
yeah, that's just like several layers of art within each other.
Yeah,
It's
man.
just ridiculous.
Did you play any video games though growing up?
Yeah, recently I've been playing through No Man's Sky. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I finished Far Cry 3 recently. I play Overwatch occasionally. One of my favorite games is Apex Legends. Um, I grew up with Nintendo.
Same.
Yeah. So
Mario
Metroid's my
Kart?
favorite series. Zelda.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Metroid fan.
Hell yeah, man. I definitely grew up with Mario Kart. Mario Kart was the
Nice.
OG staple in my fucking day.
Hell yeah.
Nintendo Mario Karts, Pokemon. I love playing Pokemon. I never really collected the cards so much. I definitely love just the game. I love the
Right.
show.
Speaking of
Um,
Pokemon, did you see Megami? Have you heard of Megami?
what?
Go to your browser, type Megami.io. This is a recent project from an artist who is a certified Pokemon card illustrator, Naoki Saito, he just actually finished minting it 2 days ago. Um, if you're
Wait,
into
spell it
Pokemon,
again?
Megami, Megami,
.io.
.io, yeah. And every he's a very famous artist. Every piece in this collection is designed to look like a one of one from him.
Is that it?
Because 1 second, sorry. Yes, that's it. Yes, yes, yes.
Ooh.
So his
So he's
his
just
pieces sell for 15, 20 ETH sometimes, and he wanted people wanted to collect his art. So he made a project that the focus was to make his art accessible but also high quality.
all right.
So if
Hold
you're into
on.
Pokemon,
Yeah, I am into Pokemon. No, hold on. Shit.
right?
I want to check out. So he has it's it on OpenSea?
It is on OpenSea. Yes, it's a Megami. Yeah, 10,000 supply. They had a really cool sale model.
Oh,
Uukru and Killer GF are
dude.
close partners with this project. Naoki was thoroughly inspired by Uukru and Killer GF.
Oh
Um,
shit. This is
so
an
yeah,
affordable project too. I'm definitely gonna have a look at this now. Thank you.
please do. They are incredible. Their team is incredible.
So you said he worked on Pokemon as an
Yeah,
illustrator, you said?
he's done countless Pokemon card art. Primarily Pokemon card illustrator, but he's also worked as a character designer for several different situations and games.
Man, fuck. I was all right. Well,
Now you
all
know.
right.
Now you
Now I'm gonna
know.
have to check that project. Now I'm gonna have to spend some money. That's legend, dude. Thank you for that. That actually, I fuck
No
with that
problem.
heavy.
It's
Um,
incredible. We're partners with his project. He's incredibly, appreciative of what Uwu and Killer GF has done in this space to inspire him to create Megami.
Hell yeah, man. That's legendary. I
Thank
was definitely growing up. Yu-Gi-Oh was my thing, like especially with
you.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I just found out the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh died at sea or something. I don't know if you
That's,
heard about that,
yeah.
but oh my god, that was fucking sad. That was super sad for me. I
Yeah.
loved Yu-Gi-Oh. I love the art behind Yu-Gi-Oh, and I think the art has a shit ton to do with
Hmm.
the brand behind the project. I think
Right.
you can almost get away with like half the shit if your art's good enough. There's a lot of projects out there like that that aren't doing a whole lot, but their art is just phenomenal. You know.
Right. Right. Right.
Um, but okay, I have a couple questions here that I wrote down before that I wanted to get into. I just didn't want to forget them.
Totally.
Um, are you an artist at all, or are you completely dev?
Yeah, so I don't really consider myself an artist. I feel like I've had to serve the role as like a creative director sometimes, just
Hmm.
because like working on like designing collections. I think I'm good at overseeing creatives and turning it into like a final product, right? But
Yeah.
me myself, I don't consider myself an artist. I have considered, or I have explored doing generative art with code. That's something I tried it more last year, but it's
Yeah.
definitely something I want to get back to once I have more time. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I myself have been looking differently at the standard term of artist. But I haven't considered myself an artist specifically. No.
And then what would you be doing if you weren't coding at all? If coding hadn't found you, or if ETH just like wasn't a thing and you didn't
Mm,
end up working for that guy and helping out with like smart contracts and coding and stuff like that, what would you have been doing?
without coding, man, I've been coding for a while, bro. I did it
Or
since
okay, so if you're still in
my
coding but
sophomore
not
year.
maybe not
Okay,
Web3, what would
not
you be?
Web
You think you'd be
three.
working at a random company?
Yeah, before I joined working in ETH, I was working at a like dev shop that would like do, the client would approach them with the product they want to build, and then we make it
Mhm,
happen. I was doing a bit of app development back then. I did 2 Android apps and iPhone app, and did some website work for them back then too.
mhm.
But now I don't do any website work at all.
Dude, websites
For
are
app,
hard. I took a couple of website design classes. That I don't know if that's
yeah,
hard in the grand scheme of things, but I struggle with website design. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. It's very valuable to have a UI designer step in and guide the dev to do what you need to make. Because the dev is just trying to make something on his own for a website.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to come out the same way as if it's a designer.
Well, dude, walk me through a mint day. You've been through. I assume you've been through multiple mint days, right?
Yeah, I have.
Talk me through what that's like, because that's not a concept that anyone can understand. That's something I fully
Mm,
believe you have to go through, and I haven't even been part of a mint. I haven't been truly part of a team on
mm,
mint day, so I would love to know.
right. Well, I'm going to start off with this. Um, the most like I feel like a lot of people really don't realize that the mint is just the start. The mint is literally the start of a project. I've grown a distaste for unminted projects just because they put everything up front. They can say everything they want and everyone's gonna
Yeah,
love it no matter what. But then when they mint and they have it out, maybe they struggle as a team because they're not sure what they're doing. I mean, not that anyone knows what they're doing, but you need to be willing to listen to your community and satisfy them, right? And uh, uh, Yeah, for mint day itself, man, it's crazy. I know some discords that have restricted uh, community entirely until after mint. They just don't have people chatting in the server at all until the mint's
yeah,
over. But mint is absolutely crazy. There's just people who show up, a bunch of people who say shit. The mint happens. There's initial hype that happens. I mean, ideally, you could you can continue entertaining your team and your community, and you can keep that hype going, but eventually it will fade out, right? And then you're gonna get people, you know nearly insulting the team, uh, asking devs to do something unironically,
and they're serious. That's the thing. They're
They're
like
serious,
actually. So
right?
they're like, why is the floor low? It's like because you're the fucking idiot listing it. That's why the floor is
Right.
low.
Stop bricking my shit.
They're like undercutting the floor. That's fucking hilarious. What
Right.
advice? What advice do you give to projects launching right now in a total dead market? What are the things
Mm,
that they can do that might add a little bit of value, at least upfront?
right. I would say plan as much as you can. Um, a lot of projects, I mean, they'll work on the mint, it'll happen, and then they might not have any plans after that mint. And sure, you
Hmm.
can come up with some on your own, but like I would recommend to every project that is still in development right now to make sure they understand what their intention is with that project, right? What their mission for the project is, right? And then, once you have those at least the intention is the most important part. Once you have why you're doing it, uh, at least uh, written out and you understand it, you can work on other plans that make sense and fit into what you're trying to build to continue entertaining and catering to the community and building your vision.
Yeah. Do you do you have any stories like? Did anyone on your team get hired randomly? Like I know some projects they've told me random stories where they're just like, yeah, like we hired this guy out of nowhere. He was like in our community. He said this, he said that. Next thing you know, he's working for us. Like, how do you find new people to work on the team? Like, what are the secrets to
Mm,
working Web3?
Hmm. So definitely valuable to listen to your community. For UWU, we put out like a UWU Labs interest form that people
Hmm.
can fill out, and they can tell us what their experience is. And then anytime we need to look for someone, we have a list of people that we can look through. The people that are UWU, right? Which is great
Yep.
for us. Like we want people that are UWU. Um, uh, in terms of people I hired like that, well, the team of UWU came from us who were just hanging out in a Discord, being friends, collecting art together, right? Um, in terms of other hires, yeah, I mean, maybe it's just great to look for people that you think fit the team culture well, you know, and also really believe in what is happening. Um, for crazy hires, man, I haven't really done a lot of expansion yet, honestly. I need to do some crazy hires. uh, uh, yeah. I've mainly
So
stuck with the same team sizes working on these projects. But expanding is also really important that I need to consider it more.
yeah. What are your biggest interests in the Web3 space? Because you've done quite a few different things, and I know you started advising for ICO Virtual
Right.
project. Like, are you most concerned as far as your own brand, just like continuing to add to the resume, or what's like the long term vision for you?
Right. So, good question, man. So, I mean, maybe I've done things that I didn't understand the weight of it, right? Until I did it, until I look back in time and just gasp at what I've done, you know?
Just casually working on Ethereum, no big deal.
Right. Right. So um uh I definitely like I do have my intentions with what I do, and that's very important. I may not know what I'm doing, but because my intentions are so clear, like everything eventually lines up, right?
Yeah.
And um oh man. What was the question again? I'm sorry. Just can you
Just I was
just
just wondering, like, if you had like a long term vision, long term goal, because you've worked on a bunch of different things.
right.
You're advising with ICO Virtual.
Within crypto overall, that goal for me used to be build ETH 2.
Yeah.
But times change, interest change. That was a lot of work that I honestly felt I wasn't qualified for as an engineer for. It's pretty difficult here. Everyone around me was very well trained and educated.
Hmm.
Um, for now, I mean, that goal for me is to, build up this culture of ooh as much as possible, whatever that means. All these projects that I'm advising for, and Killer GF that I co-founded too, and there's also Persona Lamps, which is another project but much smaller. Um, they're all extensions of the ooh brand and culture, and they're all ways for the brand to get out there and for the culture to build up further. Um, and just having these other teams that I trust to represent it too. I would say the
Yeah.
largest goal overall would be to build now for me to build that culture and to make sure like I had to do this. I don't want to go too much into it, but I had to handle the situation where a member on the team was lying to, or like they stole from the rest of the team. uh,
Mm.
and I made sure to just say that his actions were not uwu, just so everyone understands what uwu is supposed to be. I'll say that's my priority, that's my goal, that's my vision right now, to build out that culture as much as I possibly can.
What communities have kind of inspired you or given you a little bit of reference to look at? Like, is the Board Ape Yacht Club one of those, or is that just so
Mm,
long ago, so different vibe?
right. Yeah. So Board Ape's definitely inspiration. They set the formula. But projects really need to take that formula and fit it into what their narrative as a project is, right? Like anyone could just do an expansion drop, charge more for it, you know, and just do the same thing for their holders, do the same exact thing, try to include them as much as they can, but what really matters for that kind of stuff is the intention behind it, and making sure that it all follows up to that narrative, right? So that's
Yeah.
that's what I've been learning from Bored Ape, that they follow everything with that narrative of being the premium club. Ooh doesn't have to be a premium club. We're all about the culture. You don't have to hold one to be a part of the culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Other projects that I look up to a lot, Tubby Cats have a fantastic community. They've really, proliferated memes and being fun really well. Uh, they're great. Other ICO, I mean, I know I'm advising for ICO, but I really look up to their team. Um, they have incredible people that have been like they've maintained their community for several months before minting, and
Hmm.
that gave them a lot of good practice. And they're all Brazilian. They're all pretty close to each other, and they
Cool.
all hang out and voice chat all day and just talk about what they need to be doing. Um, yeah.
Legend, dude. What? So okay. I know I don't want to bring it all the way back to Board Ape Yacht Club, but I just am interested because every time I hear about someone who minted in a Board Ape Yacht Club, that's a completely different story. What was that Discord like when you first jumped in? What was the energy? Because everyone tells me about the energy in the OG Discord days, but that was
Hmm.
before NFTs were like a thing.
Right.
So what was it like?
Yeah, it was just. I mean, really, like, man, like the whole point of Bored Ape is just people, they aped into something. They're rich as fuck. They're bored to death. They're just
Yeah.
doing bullshit all day. They don't really have anything to do with their time. They're at the fucking yacht club. So I would say the culture of the Bored Ape channel really mirrored that. It just mirrored people who just were just chilling, not really doing anything all day, hanging out in the chat, just shit posting and having fun. Doing weird shit, as the Bored Ape team likes to say. Um.
And back
Uh.
then, like Bored Apes weren't what they are yet. They were
Right.
not the big project yet. So like back then, was the belief there, or did that kind of just like happen and everyone was like, "Holy shit!" Like when
It
when
was
it first minted,
definitely
what was that
there.
like?
They had, this is like long forgotten now. They haven't talked about it in so long, but they had, it's on their website. They have what's called the bathroom.
Hmm.
That if you hold a Bored Ape, you can go into this little pixel wall. Like our pixel on Reddit. Like you can go into this wall and draw your one pixel every 10 minutes because you hold a Bored Ape.
Let's
And
go.
people, for a while, we had, I think we wrote out Y Fusion
Nice.
in there for a while.
Very cool.
And then there's always a bunch of bullshit, stupid, degen art on there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Okay, wait, hold on. You just said something that sparked something that I wanted to talk about.
Hmm.
Since you've been in crypto for so long, all right, I'm gonna tell you a story. When I was in college, I was probably 2016, 2017, something like that. I was probably 18 or 19. And in this school, I believe it was the same school. It was the same year for sure. I had a roommate. His name was, well, we won't dox his name. I had a roommate, and this roommate dabbled on the Silk Road and in the black or not the black market, the dark web, the deep web.
Hmm. Hmm.
That shit on the outside looked extremely sketchy, but that was also a different time. That was 2016, 2017. That guy was just literally buying drugs, like exactly what people thought it was for.
Right.
What have you spent time on there, and what is the deep web, dark web like?
I really haven't. I know people who have. I know people who got into crypto because of their involvement in that space, right?
Mm.
Um. Yeah, man, I don't really know too much, but it is its own scene. There's a lot of fuck shit going on in there. But people have their business and they do it on there, and some of them use crypto to do it. Some use Monero, some take Bitcoin. Um.
I just remember watching those YouTube videos back in the day where people would talk about like these red rooms and like these scary things on Reddit and all these
Right.
videos. Like that shit was wild. Like, but that stuff was happening. Like that. I mean, that's
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find for
sure.
on purpose, right?
Yeah.
but I mean, who knows what the fuck is going on over there? But the drug people usually stay in their lane. I'm pretty sure they just do their selling and then leave it at that.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll bring this back to NFTs as we kind of close out here. Also, guys, if you haven't clicked the like button, smash like in this video. I see 12 y'all. I know there ain't no 12 likes in here, so smash like. If you guys have any questions, drop them in there for him. And what was my question? It was, I feel like a lot of people have a very similar idea about this, about especially the NFT Web3 world. But where do you realistically see us in 6 months as far as a culture?
I like your time frame. Very realistic time frame to ask me about.
Yeah,
Because no one knows what we're doing in a year,
we have
right?
no idea, bro. Honestly, I should have asked like 2 months, but
um, I'll try 6 months. So I really think we'll see more of like experienced Web 2 professionals entering the space and
mm,
joining existing Web 3 projects that need help with how to actually operate a real business, right?
yeah,
Um, like Cool Cats, like they're struggling. They just got a new CEO, right? That is hopefully going to take them into a direction that'll give them um, better clarity with what their position in the space is, right?
yeah.
I definitely see more professionals coming in, helping out teams. Um, I definitely see more projects just flopping and fading to irrelevance as they neglect their communities or whatever. Um, and yeah, it's just crazy with crypto that everyone inspires each other. Everyone is just constantly building off of what everyone else does. Um, and now we've seen like Zeronis entering the space to do Killer GF inspired Naoki, who's another amazing tier artist to enter the space too. And I'm
Yeah,
sure Naoki is inspiring a bunch of people to come in. Naoki dropped
100%.
his first NFT like last year in October. And that felt like a really pivot point for me in this industry, because that a lot of the Japanese market started entering when they saw
Hmm.
that. They took his entrance as a resounding like confidence, especially he had such success with the sale. He sold his first piece for 13.69 ETH. Um, so that was a huge success for
Wow.
everyone watching, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
God damn.
and I feel like there's going to be a lot of traditional businesses entering this industry
Hmm.
who might not even know what to do. They might not even know what to do. Some are gonna enter this industry and they won't know what the fuck they're doing, and they won't, like, Pepsi tried doing this stuff. They didn't. What the heck did they do? You know. So
Dude,
so I
it's
really
bad.
I do see more projects entering the space, and we've actually had quite a generous amount of projects approaching UWU looking for advice and
Nice.
help into entering this industry, right?
Very cool.
Because it's not a walk in the park. So it's great that companies are recognizing that this industry is not a walk in the park, that they need help from the inside,
Yeah, dude.
right?
Yeah, a lot of the big companies come in and think that the name is going to be enough. What's his name? Was it Chris Brown who
Right.
dropped a
Yes, Chris
project
Brown.
and
Yep.
like 200 sold out of 10,000 or something ridiculous like that?
Right. Right. Yeah.
I was like,
Exactly
dude,
that.
like, how do you fuck that up so bad? Like they're not even involved. It's so obvious. They like, I remember this was back in the 2021 maybe fall. Logan Paul had endorsed a project called Zoo something like Zoo Animals or some bullshit like that.
Uh-huh.
And like 2 weeks before the project dropped, after he did all this marketing for it, dead, like nothing, just crickets. Did not sing a
Wow.
single post or a tweet about it from Logan. And everyone
Wow.
like was like, I'm not sure what to do. They ended up like still, I think a lot of people bought in because they're like, maybe he just has been busy, and then just like never heard about it ever again. Just never heard about it. And this man literally was so excited about it, like genuinely excited. I knew he actually cared. And I think about halfway through, he was like, wait a second, I think this is gonna suck actually. And so he stopped talking about it. But a lot of the projects are hitting walls because they're not hiring the right people. Like, what do you say to the massive companies? Who are they supposed to go to? Who are the important people to talk to before they drop a project?
Uh. Well, you want people who have been in this space, right? You don't want people who, like, it's very easy for people to come in here and think they know it, and then they just really don't, and
Yeah.
and they might not know what's going on. I would really recommend that they stay in touch with their community, that they actually hear them out. They might have different interests, they might have their own short-term selfish interests,
Yep.
but they are the community. They are people who are shareholders in what you're doing, whatever it is, right? Um, so they're what they desire is extremely important to consider.
Hmm.
One thing I'll say from myself, like, I could definitely work on how often my teams communicate with our communities, because we're so heads down building that we sometimes forget to notify the community of what we're working on.
Yeah. Yeah. Hundred
So
percent.
so I would say that's really important to learn, and if you can keep your community up to date and informed, then that's a good way to, and transparent. That's a good way to transparency is very important too. People will find
Yeah.
anything if you're not transparent with it.
Well,
So
people
that's
will even jump onto a project with a founder who's not as experienced or good at anything because they like how transparent they are. They're like, hey, I don't actually know what I'm doing. It's my first project. People would rather know that up front so that they know what they're getting themselves into than then finding out like a Zuki or OK Bears after they've all bought in at like peak prices and be like, oh shit, you
right,
suck. Or something like that. Like you've done something that like you didn't tell us about. That's kind of fucked up. But anyways, here's my last
right.
question because this is something I definitely want to know.
Hmm.
You've dropped some big names during this podcast. Who is your dream collab if you could work with someone?
My dream collab. I mean, within Web3
No,
or
dude,
the
fuck it.
world.
Dream. No, let's manifest this shit right now. Anybody, if
Fuck
they're
yeah.
alive.
So I mean, I would love, a lot of my personal. I feel like everyone has their own personal uwu, like their own personal definition of what it is, right? Like everyone has
Yep.
had different exposure to that culture, and different anime content, different media. For me, a lot of that originated from Japanese music. And
Mm,
me personally, this is a kind of a recent, dream I've had, honestly. But I would really love the musicians that inspired me and built that definition of ooh for me, to rep, ooh crew or Killer GF, or it'd be great to see, people that inspired me and motivated me to continue building everything I've done, repping what I've built. You know.
that would be legendary as fuck, dude. We saw Danny say, "Dream collab is you, Uhuru times KFC."
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
There's a
Arwen
joke
said,
that everything I do for ooh is to build up to a Hatsune Miku concert. at
Hey,
UConn or something.
hell yeah. That's fucking awesome, dude. That's fucking. We'll put that energy out there. I think it could definitely. It
Someone asked for
definitely
my
can happen.
playlist. I'm just gonna say my playlist is miku.eth.link. So if you type Miku miku.eth.link, you'll reach my playlist.
Damn, let's go. We got the OG, we got the King playlist. That's fucking awesome. And then we have Andy
That's right.
here. I don't know what this. He said something about Marin, as a UWU
Right.
holder. She does personal horoscopes for UWU holders.
Yeah, so she was a prominent member of White Fusion.
Okay.
But nowadays we don't talk as much. But maybe it's worth connecting again. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, honestly, in a bear market, a lot of things can. Well, honestly, like I feel the word utility gets thrown around, but like in a bear market, like pretty much anything count. Like an announcement every 2 weeks is utility at this point.
Right. Yeah.
um,
Right. Right.
but anyways, dude, I had a great time talking with you, and I
It's
learned a lot
great.
of shit, especially about the OG war. Like I love talking about stuff that's going on back in the day with
Fuck
people
yeah,
who have
man.
actually been here. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate your
If
time.
you ever want to talk OG, man, happy to share.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I had a great time, and I appreciate everyone who is
Thank
here
you.
as well. Guys, if you haven't already, smash like in this video, subscribe to the channel, and then code word if you made it to the end. Because I know some of you guys were here since the beginning. Kiwi for the win is the code word. I want to see that spam in the chat. If this is not your first podcast with me, if this is a second, third, 20th podcast, the Joyage Kingdom, I want to see OG spammed in the fucking chat. Y'all already know how it is. So thank you guys all for being here. And then you can also find his stuff in the description. I have Kiwi's stuff in the description. All you have to do is click his link. That'll send you right to his Twitter. You can check his stuff out. And hell yeah, man. Like, was there any like last things you wanted to like sign off with? You want to like shout anyone out or?
Oh man. Shout out to Megami. They just launched. They're fucking killing it. Of course, shout out to all the UWU Labs family, UWU crew, Killer GF, Persona Lamb, Psycho Virtual. Um. Oh man.
On the spot?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, listen, I appreciate your time. This is something. This is fun as fuck. We'll do it again. Honestly, where the direction I kind of want to take the show a little bit, not completely, but I think it'd be really fun to do almost like a late night show. You know how when like Jimmy Fallon or someone has somebody on for a show, it's typically because they have a movie to promote or a new
Mm,
book or something like that. Like I've always kind of thought
mm,
about it for like a round two, maybe if you guys have something coming up that
I
you want to get a little bit more eyes
see.
on.
I see. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So.
Well, I'll definitely keep that in mind. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. We can have you on for round two, or it doesn't have to be about that. It can be about whatever. But I had a great time with you, and yeah.
Awesome.
So hell yeah, man. Guys,
Thanks
thank you
so
so much for
much.
being here. Hell yeah, 100%. Until next time, continue on your Joyage, continue to learn, and be grateful you're alive watching this video. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.